FDR Park is a very historic park. It was built about 100 years ago in the early years of the 20th century. And it was actually our very first and only Olmsted Brothers designed park in the city of Philadelphia. Frederick Law Olmsted is the patriarch of landscape architecture. He designed some of the most famous and beautiful parks in the country, including Central Park in New York, and really believed in the power of parks to play a role in democracy, in connecting people to each other and to the natural world, and believed that parks inherently should be equitable spaces. The idea of creating a public park like this one at FDR was really about giving all residents, all citizens access to a beautiful public space to congregate and relax in and recreate in. Right across from us is the beautiful boathouse. And this was one of the original buildings from the Sesquicentennial, built in the early 1920s, that is really just a picturesque site and creates a beautiful view shed for people to be able to view the lakes. This has always been a park that's incorporated athletic recreation. You have 2 fields in the back of the park that are managed by the Phillies. And then we have over 20 picnic sites throughout the park. And this facility where we are right now, the American-Swedish Museum, is a fascinating museum and a wonderful place to learn about the Swedish history here in the United States. Of course, there's also the skate park, which is, depending on who you are, not the prettiest part of the park, but pretty beloved by the skating community. The Olmsted Brothers did not design a skate park into the park, but it is very cool and pretty iconic in its own right.
FDR Park's the largest park in South Philadelphia, and I think it almost perfectly reflects the incredibly vibrant mixture of people who call South Philadelphia home. I think you see here in the park the layers of immigration that South Philadelphia has hosted. You see all those cultural impressions made here. You see our Italian Americans who called this park home for generations here. You see newer immigrant communities, Southeast Asian communities that have called South Philadelphia home since the 1970s. This park is an incredibly significant gathering place, not just for Southeast Asians who live in Philadelphia, but the diaspora throughout the whole region. In recent years, we've seen Mexicans and Latinos being an increasing part of the park's story. Soccer is their main utilization that their community gathers for around here. I think it is incredible in this day and age to find public spaces where so many different people are here together, sharing, embracing, stewarding, and participating in the same thing.
I grew up in South Philly. I've been in South Philly for 40 years already. So this is my second home, and it's really nice. I come from Cambodian, and a lot of market people are Cambodian. There's Laos, Thai, Vietnamese, and now Indonesia come, and Filipino. I started about 15 years already. I have Asian fruit and vegetable, and especially this year, because the restaurant is not open, a lot of people come to get all different kind of food.
A 350-acre park like this, accessible to public transit, accessible to major highways, accessible on foot to surrounding neighborhoods and complexes. It's really unique to us in Philadelphia. We don't have many of these. Not everybody knows about it, and therefore its value is really underestimated. The master plan gave us an opportunity to do an extensive amount of community outreach. We spent almost a year talking to thousands of people. We engaged the Friends of FDR Park that are just an extraordinary stewardship group that has championed this park for decades but hasn't seen the investment that they've wanted to see. And we presented that plan to the public, and now we're in the process of implementing that plan. And I think it really will change the face of this park in a positive way.
A 100 years ago, South Philadelphia below Oregon Avenue was this. It was a world of water and of grass, punctuated occasionally by a hill or a homestead. That changed in the beginning of the 19th century, both as we dug the Broad Street subway. That fill, all coming from North Philadelphia, from Center City, from South Philadelphia, was being brought down here to raise the ground, to make solid land, to build new neighborhoods, to build new parks like this. Over the last 100 years, river levels and sea levels have risen, the park has begun to sink, and these marshes are beginning to reemerge again just on their own. What's really incredible about this park plan is it's not denying those changes in climate and environment, it's not fighting against them, it's embracing them. That's why the beginning of this FDR master plan starts with the restoration of 40 acres of tidal marsh. To see that kind of ecological restoration in a way that's open to the public, that can be a part of South Philadelphia, is really incredible, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
It was so wonderful to see at our community meetings and open houses and our focus groups such a diverse group of users participate and tell us how they use the park and what they'd like to see for the future of the park. So I think it really speaks to how our city has evolved and what the future of our city is, and that is how do we embrace this amazing diversity of users, and really how do these public spaces serve as a vehicle and a way for us to connect with each other and meet people that perhaps we wouldn't interact with on a day-to-day basis. You can do that at a park like FDR.